So today's topic is unit number 8, support and movements of organisms. So with the basics of this word we are going to discuss today. Very first, what is this movement? Simply we say movement means motion, moving from one place to another. But in science, in these biological lessons, when we are defining this movement, we have to concern about two words here. That is, either the entire body, the whole body of an organism may be moving, may be changing its position, or else a part of the body will be moving, will be changing its position. So these are the two concerns we have to take here. Accordingly, either the whole body or the part of the body changes its position. Okay, that is also due to two reasons. One, as a response for a stimulus, and the other one as a response for a target change. So accordingly, you see there, what is the definition we are giving here? Movement is the process of living organisms change the location of their whole body or a part of its body as a response to a stimulus is known as a movement. So movement is a common characteristic of both plants and animals, but different types of movements are shown by them, right? So within maybe plant, animal, even the microorganism you take, they do have movements, but there are different types of movement. That is what we are going to learn now. So very first we are going to take the topic support and movements of animals. A small activity we are going to do here, different types of organisms we have to take. We are going to take different types of animals. So concerning each and every animal here, we are going to point out what is the sort of movement they show. Or for the movement, what is the body part they use. Accordingly, you see here, animals change the location of their whole body or a part of its body as a response to a stimulus. Read the activity. Observe the movements of the given animals by using the video clips or specimens. Identify the appendages used by these animals for movements. Complete the table given below. You can see there are some organisms given. Amoeba, Euglena, Paramecium. They are some microorganisms. They are unicellular organisms too. Earthworm, snail, leech, dolphin, cobra, toad, crow, cheetah, human. So these organisms we are taking as to point out their organs they do have to move on. You see, amoeba, they do have pseudopodia, or we say false feet. Amoeba, they do have false feet. Let me point it out. Can you see here the amoeba, the diagram given? You can see there are some feet-like, there are some leg-like structures. So these are false. They are not actually really appearing legs. Whenever there is a prey to be hunt on, okay, they will be swallowing their prey. We name it as phagocytosis. So for this phagocytosis, for this swallowing, destroying of their prey, they will be having false legs. So those false legs are what we term as pseudopodia or pseudopods. Accordingly, amoeba, the appendages they do have for their movement is false feet. And Euglena you take, they do have flagella. Right? Flagella means they do have like, tail-like structures they do have, using that they move on. And Paramecium, cilia, they have hair-like structures. They do have some hair-like structures. Earthworm, leech you take, they don't have special appendages. They don't have any special appendages to move on. Their body is what they will be moving upon. And dolphin you take, they do have flippers. Dolphin, they have flippers. Snail, muscular feet. You could have seen that the way they are moving on, when they are moving on, they will be having a muscle-like feet to help their motion. That is the muscular feet. And cobra, no special appendages for them too. Toads you take, they do have limbs, four legs they have. Crows like birds you take, they do have wings for their motion. And what about their legs? They have legs too, but legs they don't use for their major locomotion. Whenever they are landing down, then they use their legs. Otherwise, their major movement is carried out by wings. And cheetah also limbs, legs they do have. Human, two limbs. So these are the appendages used for the movements of these organisms. Let me go for the next one now. Bones, muscles, and joints. You know that being human beings, we do have all these three: bones, muscles, and joints. So what is the relationship between them and how to find it out, and what are their characteristics, features, are what we are going to discuss here. You see, invertebrates use muscles while vertebrates use both muscles and bones for their movement. That means, the organisms we take, there are vertebrates and invertebrates. Vertebrates, they do have a vertebral column. Invertebrates, they don't have a vertebral column. No backbone. Okay. And these invertebrates, they are using their muscles for their locomotion. And vertebrates like us, we do have both muscles and bones together arranged. They are what activated to move on. So accordingly, vertebrates use both muscles and bones for their movements. Bones and muscles help not only for movements but also to maintain the body shape and rigidity. Here the diagram given here, the human skeletal system and the muscular system. Just imagine if this human skeletal system, if the skeletal system we don't have, only the muscles are there, okay, how easier the muscles could be compressed in. Even we give a small compression, muscles go inside like a sponge. Okay, so that is because of if we don't have a skeletal system. So you can understand now, this skeletal system or the bones system help us to maintain the body shape, and also it gives us strength, a support, a rigidity to our body. Okay, accordingly, the features of muscles we take. The cells in a muscle are arranged as fibers. You know, you have learned earlier, cells are the basic building unit of organisms. Cells are the basic building unit of organisms. So these cells arrange together to form up tissues. When we take the muscle, muscle is a tissue. Accordingly, muscle tissues are made up of muscle cells. Okay, so that is what the first statement gives you. The cells in a muscle are arranged as a fibers. Muscle cells are what we term as muscle fibers too. Okay, right. The second one, a muscle cell has the ability to contract and shorten. So just imagine of your leg, hands and all, you can fold it and stretch it. Okay, they'll be contracting and relaxing. So they move towards and away from. That is how they help in movements. So a muscle cell has the ability to contract and shorten. A muscle cell has the ability to relax too. Okay, so both the points are given here. You can see a muscle cell has the ability to contract or shorten. They will be coming closer. A muscle cell has the ability to relax. They go away. Okay, so just imagine you are taking your hands, you are taking your arms. Okay, so when you fold it, when you are folding your hands, when you are folding your elbows, your muscles in your elbow arm will be contracting. The upper muscle will be contracting. When you are stretching your hand, the muscles will be relaxing, and they seems like they are moving from away one another. So like the same, contraction and relaxation takes place in all our body muscles as to move on. And the next point is, when muscles are relaxed or contracted, they have the ability to reach the original position again. That is, if we have contracted any muscles, we can take them relaxed back again. Or if it is relaxed again, that could be contracted, and that is how we can move all these body organs with the muscle. Okay, with the help of the muscles, forward and backward alike. The same example I take, if you take the elbow arm, you can fold it, at the same time you can stretch it. That is because of the muscles inside them, they can contract and relax, coming back to the same original positions. Okay, so accordingly, these are the features of muscles. So you can see there is an activity given here. That activity shows you how to arrange a model related with our human elbow. Prepare a model of an elbow unit by using hard cardboard pieces or wooden planks as shown in the figure. Contract the elastic band A without moving the wooden plank P. Contract a B without moving P. Observe what happens. So the activity given here, it is regarding the human elbow joint. You see the model given there. Here there are two wooden planks, two wooden rods connected together. Okay, so they are connected in an L shape. Okay, you see the bolt nail, that is not a fixed nail, it is a bolt nail, so that they can move, slide on one another. It's connected on, and you see there P and Q are the wooden plank that we have taken. You see, from P there are two rubber bands or elastic bands attached to it, and one it is attached to the end of the wooden plank Q, and the other it is attached to the midpoint of wooden plank Q. Okay, so accordingly, you see the elastic bands named as A and B. One by one, I'm going to contract it. I'm going to contract. Let's say I'm contracting B. Contracting means I'm taking it closer. In simple words, okay, I'm pulling it. Then what happens? The length of the elastic band B will be reducing, and this wooden plank Q will be moving down. Okay, it will be moving down. It will be turning down. At this time, when you observe the elastic band A will be increasing the length, correct? What we have done was, B we have reduced the length, so the A will be increasing the length. Next, what I am doing now, A I am going to decrease the length, okay, by contracting it. When I'm contracting A, I can see B will be stretching. B will be stretching. And the length of B will be increasing. Length of A will be decreasing. At this time, what is the observation? The wooden plank cube which was down will be coming back up now. So accordingly, one by one when you are doing, okay, so this wooden plank cube will be moving up and down. It is upon the contraction of A and B one by one. So this is what happening in our human elbow joint too, and that is what we have observed here. Accordingly, this activity explains you of how the muscles help to move a bone. So we take now human elbow joint. This is the bone which we name as the humerus. And this humerus at the point of tendon, that is the point where we stretch and fold our elbow. So this joint, we name it as the tendon. From the tendon, it is divided into, actually it is connected with two more bones which comes down through our hand. We name it as radius bone and ulna. You can just have your elbow joint over there and you can observe that. Okay, when you are keeping it straight, the upper bone which comes below, which comes down the tendon is the radius bone, and below that, that is ulna. So accordingly, radius bone and ulna is what connected to tendon here. And above the tendon, you see the humerus. Up and down of this humerus, there are two types of muscles. Upper part we name it as the bicep muscles, and the lower part we name it as tricep muscles. Upper part bicep muscles, lower part of this humerus, that is tricep muscles. And you see there, bicep muscles are connected down to radius bone. Is it clear? Bicep muscles are connected down to radius bone. Meanwhile, tricep muscles are connected down to ulna. Right? Bicep muscles are connected to radius bone, tricep muscles are connected to ulna, and this is the structure of human elbow joint. And now just imagine, when you are stretching your hand, tricep muscles will be contracting, bicep muscles will be relaxing. When you are folding out your hand, when you are folding out your elbow, now what happens? Bicep muscles will be contracting, tricep muscles will be relaxing. So one after another, they will be contracting and relaxing opposite to each other, and that is how ulna and radius bone together moves our elbows. So this is the human elbow joint we do have in both our hands. Accordingly, we compare it with the model that we have taken earlier. You see, elastic band A represents the bicep muscle in the elbow joint. That's correct, right? Look at here. Elastic band A, that represents the bicep muscles, the upper muscle. Elastic band A represents the bicep muscles. When bicep muscle is contracted, the hands bend and lift up. Bicep muscles, when they are contracting, it will be lifted up. It will be bending. Elastic band B represents the tricep muscles, correct? You see here, tricep muscles, lower arm muscles, right? And that is elastic band B. When tricep muscles is contracted, the hand is stretched. So when the tricep muscles are contracting, coming close by each other, hand will be stretched. Okay, hand will be stretched. Then the tricep muscles will be contracted and the bicep muscles come to its original resting position. That's correct, right? When one is contracted, the other one will be relaxed. In words to say, bicep muscles when it is contracted, tricep muscle will be relaxing. Tricep muscles when it is contracted, bicep muscles will be relaxing. So one after another, they contract and relax as to move this elbow joint. Okay, so this is about the human elbow joint. Hope you did understand now. Next topic we are going to take here now, that is support and movements of plants. Support of plants. Tissues are present within plants for the purpose of mechanical support. You know, cells are forming up tissues, and these tissues are there inside the plants as for their support. Okay, for their support, they do have tissues. Now, some of the tissues are there. Okay, these tissues will be filling up with water, and that water gives a turgidity, a toughness, so it gives a support. On sunny days, balsam plants get withered, and the stem is bent down. This is due to lack of water supply to the plant. To keep non-woody plants erect and alive, it is vital to have water inside the plant, whereas a woody plant can be kept erect in low water percentages due to the presence of various chemical substances such as cellulose, lignin deposited in the walls in hard coat of the plant. They give rigidity of the plant. Fine. So what it says, there are two types of plants we can take, that is the woody plants and non-woody plants. Woody plants that have wood, non-woody without woods, the stems are woodless, right? Now, these woody plants, they will be straightly growing up. And when it comes to non-woody plants, they don't have wood stems to be given by. So how they are getting the support? That is because of even in low water percentage due to the various chemical substances such as cellulose, lignin deposited in the walls in hardwood of the plant. That means, okay, in their walls, they do have cellulose, lignin, like carbohydrates, and they give a hardness. They are actually fibers, cellulose fibers, lignin fibers, like they do give a support, additional strength for that plant. Accordingly, even in low water percentage, they will be having a support. Okay, so if they do have a high water percentage, that will be giving just like a filled up rubber balloon. Okay, so when the balloon is inflated, that will be giving you turgidity. Like the same, the tissues when they are filling up with this water, that will be giving you a turgidity, a toughness. When that is in lower water percentage, that would be supplied by the support will be supplied by cellulose lignin deposited in the cell walls. Okay. So, how do you define the movements of plants? Growth of a part in a plant as a response to a stimulus or change of the location due to a turgor change is known as movements of plant. Right. What is this turgor change? Example I am taking, when a rubber balloon is filled up with water, after filling up, when you are touching over the surface of this rubber ball, you can feel a hardness. It is not so soft now, right? I mean, it will be giving a strength, a support for that balloon. Same way, when water is filled up inside the cell tissues, that will be giving a pressure to the wall. This pressure is what we term as turgor pressure. So due to the turgor pressure, or even maybe a stimulus, there are two words again, maybe because of a stimulus or maybe because of a turgor change, plants will be moving, they will be growing. This is what we term as movements of plants. Accordingly, growth of a part in a plant as a response to a stimulus or change of the location due to a turgor change is known as a movement of a plant. So now these movements of plants you take, there are two types of movements of plants. What are the two types? Tropic movements and nastic movements. Two types are there, tropic movements and nastic movements. Tropic movements means they are the movements of plants due to the change of stimulus. Okay, I'll explain the word stimulus. Very first, to understand, tropic movements are the movements of plant as a response to a stimulus. Okay, right. So these tropic movements may be towards the stimulus or away the stimulus. And nastic movements you take, they are the movements of plant due to the change of the location since a turgor change is taken place. Right? You understand now? Earlier we said movements of plants carries on in two ways. One due to the stimulus, the other one due to the turgor change. If it is due to the stimulus, that is called tropic movements. If it is due to the turgor change, that is called nastic movements. Okay, so one by one we are going to discuss now. The first topic is tropic movements. Tropic movements are the growth or movement that occur due to a direct influence between the direction of stimulus and direction of response. So this is the movement depending on stimulus. Right, what is this stimulus? Stimulus means that is a change occurring in the internal or external world, inside the body or outside the body. So this change, okay, this change, it will be recognized by our body. Okay, for an example, just imagine someone is pinching you. Will you be giving your hand to pinch more? No, you can feel that, right? You can feel that. That is because of that stimulus you do have. Okay, so there are the changes happening in the internal external world. Like the same, if there is a stimulus taking place, if there is a change happening, sometimes towards the change or sometimes away the change, plants move on. So if it is moving towards the stimulus, if the growth of the plant, movement of the plant is towards the stimulus, that is called positive tropic movement or positive tropism. Okay, and if it is moving away the stimulus, away the change, not towards, away the change, that is called negative tropic movements or negative tropism. Okay, so for an example, let me take the plant now. This plant will be having the roots and the shoot. There are two systems, root system and shoot system. Always the root will be moving towards the earth, right? Not adventitious roots, the major roots you take. Roots will be always moving towards the earth, right? Shoot, the stem will be moving away the earth, correct? Now, what is the stimulus I'm taking here? What is the stimulus point I'm taking here? The earth. We name it as geo. So, if the root is moving towards the earth, that is a positive tropism. And what type of positive tropism? We name it as positive geotropism. Why? It's moving towards the earth. And the roots, when it is moving towards the earth, stem, the shoots are moving away the earth, and that becomes negative geotropism because that is in the opposite direction. Hope you didn't understand now, right? So positive tropic movements towards the stimulus, negative tropic movements away the stimulus. So accordingly, you see there, tropic movements occur due to the effect of growth substances. You could remember like oxygen, we said, oxygen also the same way, right? Okay, response may be towards or away the stimulus. Accordingly, two types of tropic movements. Positive tropic movements, they are the movements of a plant towards the stimulus. They are called positive tropic movements or positive tropism. Negative tropic movements, the movement of a plant away the stimulus is called negative tropic movements or negative tropism. So some examples for these tropic movements are given here. You see, positive geotropism, roots growing towards the ground, that's correct, that is positive, towards the ground, positive geotropism. Stem of a plant growing away the ground, that is negative, so away the ground, away the earth, that is negative geotropism. And the third example, positive phototropism, stem growing towards the light. Light means the sunlight, towards the sunlight is what stems are growing upward. So that is towards positive sunlight, we term it as photo, so it should be positive phototropism. Let me take the roots now. The roots are moving away the sunlight, right? That should be negative phototropism. Okay. And the fourth point, positive hydrotropism. Some examples we read there. Roots moving towards the water source. Towards the water source, water bodies like lotus, like flowers you take, water bodies. So they are positive hydrotropism. Positive chemotropism, growth of a pollen along the tube towards the ovule. When you take, you have learned about this flower structure earlier in lower text. You know, pollen will be moving towards the ovules. That is for chemical reactions. So towards a chemical reaction, they are moving on. That is called chemotrophism, and that is towards positive chemotrophism. And positive thigmotrophism, playing of a coil of tendrils in passion fruit with the support. Now you see passion fruit grapes like trees you take. You could have seen the tendrils. They will be clinging on. They will be climbing on. They move around. Okay, that is for their support, and this is called positive thigmotrophism. So these are what we term as tropic movements, positive tropism and negative tropism. One activity to find it out. You see there are two pots given here, two healthy pots. Okay, what do? Plant 5 soaked seeds in each pot. Soak seeds in water, you have to plant it in each pot. After seed germination, keep one healthy plant in each pot and uproot all the other plants. Okay, one healthy plant you keep, others you uproot it. Keep one pot vertical and other toppled down as in the figure. What do you do now? After the healthy plants are growing up, one plant you keep it straight, the other you topple it down. Okay, you keep it in a horizontal view. Observe the growth of a pattern of a root and the shoot after 1 week. So what do you do now? You have to observe the way the plants are growing up. You can see the first diagram given here. However, it will be moving, growing upward vertically. The other one, it bends and moves vertically up. So this is because of the stems are always moving away the earth, or else towards the light. So that we say stems, the shoots are positive phototropism or negative geotropism. Okay. Identify and study tropic movements. Accordingly, you see in both pots, roots grow towards ground. That means movement of a plant root is positive geotropic, and movement of a plant shoot is negative geotropic as it moves. So we have discussed about these tropic movements. We are coming for the next topic, nastic movements. We said nastic movements, they are the movements due to turgor change. In nastic movements, response of the direction does not depend on the direction of stimulus. Earlier in tropic movements, you said what is the direction of the stimulus? If it is towards that, it is positive. If it is away from that, negative. But here there is no any effects, impacts of the direction of stimulus. The direction of these movements is specific. There is a specific movement that depends on the turgor change. Response is always towards a specific direction, irrespective of the direction of stimulus. Now, in nastic movements, wherever the stimulus may be, whatever the direction of the stimulus may be, always nastic movements, they do have a specific direction. They don't depend on where the stimulus is. Okay, this reaction is not related with growth substances triggered by external stimulus. So you can see there are differences between tropic and nastic movements. Tropic movements, we said, they depend on the stimulus direction. Nastic movements, they do not depend on stimulus direction. And tropic movements, they occur due to the growth substances, chemical substances present there. But in nastic movements, they are not triggered by any growth substances. They are not stimulated by any growth substances. And nastic movements, they are due to turgor change. Tropic movements, they are due to stimulus changes. Okay, accordingly, most of them, the next point I am reading, most of them are movements due to turgor change. In leguminous plants, bean-like families, beans or winged beans like unity, these are leguminous plants. Okay, in leguminous plants, a structure called pulvinus is located as a swelling in the base of a petiole or a leaflet. So you see here, this is a diagram of a plant branch given. These are the pulvinus. That means two leaflets are connected to one point. Okay, two leaflets are connected to one point. This point, it seems to be like mostly swollen, like inflated. So they are what we name it as pulvinus or pulvini in plural. Okay. In leguminous plants, structure called pulvinus is located as a swelling at the base of a petiole or a leaflet. Can you see that? These are the pulvinus here. Okay. It contains parenchyma cells which move according to the turgor change. So due to turgor pressure, these will be moving. Accordingly, some examples for these nastic movements are given here. You see, nictinastic movement. What is nictinastic movement? Sleeping or shrinking of leaves of Katurumurunga, Agati in Tamil we say, tamarind, mimosa and nelly leaves when dark falls. So when it is dark, during a night, okay, when it is late evening, these plants will be moving, will be sleeping, shrinking down. So they are called nictinastic movements. And the second one, the same way, sleeping or shrinking of leaves, but when the stimulus is touched. Just imagine of mimosa leaves, touch me not plants are there, right? So this mimosa plant you take, when you are touching them, they will be moving, they will be shrinking, they will be sleeping when the stimulus is touched. That is heptonastic movement. And there are some without being touched. Okay, without being touched, even a small vibration given close by. Okay, not touching the stimulus. Okay, but even a small vibration, a shock is given close by the plant part, they will be exhibiting sleeping processes, and they are what we term as sesponastic movement. They are during a shock or during vibrations. Okay. Photonastic movement, blooming of flowers with the sunrise. So towards the light, they are moving, they are showing the growth, that is called photonastic movement. Okay, it doesn't depend on where the light is on, always towards the sunrise they will be blooming the flowers. So that is photonastic movement. So these are some examples for nastic movements. Okay, nictinastic, heptonastic, sesponastic and photonastic. So when a mimosa plant is touched, the leaves show the sleep movement. It is heptonastic movement. You know that touch me not plant, when you are touching on, they will be showing you the sleeping movement. But after some times, again, they will be coming back, right? When a vibration is created without touching, the leaves of mimosa plant show sleep movement. It is a sesponastic movement. Even when you are giving a vibration without touching, still you can say touch me not plants will be showing you a sleeping movement. So it belongs to, right? It belongs to both heptonastic and sesmonastic movement. And the pulvinus located at each leaflet and petiole base help for these movements of the plant. So as we said earlier, pulvinus are what? Helping in movement of these plants. Pulvini are also present in plants showing sleeping movement with the decrease of sunlight. Okay. So Kathir Murunga, tamarind like plants, and you take during the dusk, okay, during a night time, they will be showing sleeping a movement, and they belong for nictinastic movements. So accordingly, this is regarding Nastic movements. So two major topics we have discussed: tropic movements and Nastic movements under the movements of plant. And is that all what comes under movements of plant? No, there are some. We learn only about these. You see, do you know? In addition to tropic movements and Nastic movements, there is a type of movement known as tactic, which is related with the direction of stimulus. In tactic movement, the whole organism respond to the stimulus. Chlamydomonas, like when we take, they will be entirely moving. The whole body will be moving towards the stimulus. This is called as tactic movements. Okay, and the very last point we are coming for as to end up our session: in situ conservation. That means, when we come today, the plants, animals, okay, due to certain external hazards, due to certain external factors, most of them, right, they are affected. So plants can be destroyed in its habitat due to external hazards, whereas animals can avoid external hazards by locomotion. So during these maybe natural disasters or man-made activities, when these are happening, maybe the plants and animals getting affected. But most of the time, animals, since they can move, they can somewhat safeguard themselves. But the plants are not like that. Okay, they will be completely destroyed. So therefore, it is essential to conserve the plants in their own habitat. So what we have to do, we have to conserve them in their own habitats. Okay, so without shifting them in their own habitats, considering with what the factors they need, and we have to prevent all sort of destructions, supplying all the habitat needs and everything. So we have to conserve them. This conservation of an organism in its living environment is known as in situ conservation. Strictly reserved forest which protect indigenous plants like ebony, satinwood, whitex are examples for in-situ conservation. There are some places in our country too where they are restricted with some, plants. They are not allowing those plants to be cut off, distracted, right? They are being protected, like this ebony, satinwood, whitex like plants when you take, right? So that is because of they are, they'll be taking a long time as to grow up, and they are used by people in many ways, okay? But when they are being cut off, destructed, again it takes a long time to grow up, right? So that is what those are being restricted, limited are. So these species of organisms can be protected by conserving sensitive zones of environment. There are hot zones, sensitive zones, we say. So by protecting them, we can conserve all these organisms, maybe the plants or animals. So that is the last topic, into conservation. So the eighth lesson also we have ended up with right now.